Smartwatch. It's a very attractive device that, it's cool and it seems like there's a lot of features that will seem to change your life and make yourself into someone better. But the question is, how much value does it actually bring to a student? Should a student actually spend the money to get one? Hey everyone, I'm Andrew, currently a computer science student in University of Nottingham, and on this channel we explore ways to improve our work, our life and ourselves in general. Today, I'd like to share about my experience with a smartwatch and whether should a student actually get one. First, I'd like to clarify about smartwatches because many people think that a lot of smart wrist-based devices are smartwatches, but for me, honestly, there are three categories. There's the simplest, cheapest smart bands, which are actually it's literally like a band with maybe a small screen that offers you, some time tracking system, some fitness functions, and then some connectivity function where you can maybe see messages and all things like that. So those are the basic level, and the fitness functions are really basic, some heart rate sensor, step counter and all that. And even if it tracks run, sometimes it doesn't even have a GPS, so it just can't even track runs and all that. If it does, it's not that accurate as well. And then when we go to the second category, it's actually sport-based smartwatches. So this actually I wouldn't consider it smartwatches, but they're still smart, so we'll just add the sport base in front of it. Yeah, a bit confusing, but these are more like those watches from like Garmin and all that, where they are quite sports focused. Even though they're sport-based smartwatches, it doesn't mean that all of them are good for fitness, because sport-based smartwatches have a variety of prices, from really budget to very expensive ones, some that are even more expensive than Apple Watches. So they have varying capability of tracking sports. Some are really simple, and some are really enthusiastic level where you can even go for diving, triathlon. I think there's even golf, some of them for golf and all that. So it really varies, but then all of these are really just focused on sports. So they will definitely have some sport features. The accuracy of those features varies depending on the price, but other than that, they definitely have some time tracking feature, and of course they have some smart based features depending on price as well. The more the expensive they are, the more they offer, but the thing is, it's not that smart. It is simple feature, which isn't. It's kind of like imagine a BlackBerry versus versus an Android or an iPhone. It's more like those kind of BlackBerry, which is like BlackBerry is really focused as a messaging device-ish, kind of like that. I never really use it, but that's my idea of it. It's more like a simple portable computer messaging and all that. It doesn't offer that much apps like iPhone and Android. So those are sports-based smartwatches. And now onto the third category, which is something I'm focusing on today. They are the actual smartwatches, which are smartwatches that are running on Wear OS or Watch OS. So basically one from Android and one from the Apple camp. And over here, I'm wearing one, which is something I bought last year. I think I've been wearing it for maybe at least 4 or 5 months. It's Samsung Galaxy Watch 4 running Wear OS 3, and then one of the most popular smartwatch in the world is actually Apple Watch. And today, I will be focusing on this watch, these kind of watch, because these are the watch which offers better than average fitness tracking feature. They have all kinds of time tracking feature, and then they are smart because they actually allows you to run apps on it. And then, yeah, it can have multiple functionality depending on the apps you have, because people can just create apps onto this Play Store and App Store, and you can just download that onto your watch. That's why I actually only consider these the actual smartwatches, and I'll be talking about why did I buy it, and then my experience of using it, and finally, whether should a student buy it. Let's get to it. So first, why did I buy a smartwatch? So prior to this is actually not my first smartwatch. I mean, this is my first actual smartwatch, but before this, I've actually bought a sport-based smartwatch from Amazfit, because that time I actually got serious into running, and that was my first budgetish smartwatch, which is around, I think back then it was around $199 US dollars, and yeah, that offers quite a lot of running features because I'm really into marathon and all that. So it actually helped me on my fitness tracking and all that. I was serious about running, and then it was able to track my swims as well. Sometimes I do use it. other than that, there's nothing else. I mean, it does show message, but I can't run any kinds of apps on it, and then there's pretty much nothing. I can just track runs and then track my heart rate. So I use that. It was okay. It was good for run tracking. It helps me somewhat, but it kind of broke after 2 years of using it. So I decided that I'm not gonna buy another sport-based smartwatch, because of course it's good that it's a watch and then it does offer like fitness tracking feature, and then I do use fitness tracking feature. But the thing is, I don't get things out of it. It's nothing that special. I mean, with a good enough smartphone and the armband, I can actually do the same thing. So I decided that if I'm getting another smartwatch, I'm gonna get something that's either an Apple Watch or a Wear OS Google Android-based watch, and that's why I got this. But prior to this, I actually I took a lot of time thinking, because I'm really thinking, whether do I actually need one? Yeah, because it's only when I came here into the UK and then I joined the Athletics Club Society. Yeah, then I saw that most of them have a watch on it. You know, for run tracking, it's a lot easier. You can just tap and run instead of like trying to fiddle with a phone on your armband. Yeah, that pushed me into getting this watch. And you know, like, it's Wear OS 3. People say that it's quite good and all that. You know, price isn't that expensive. It's a little bit more expensive in the UK. I think it's like £299, but it's like $299 US dollars as well. So it's actually not that expensive. That's why I got myself into buying it. But does it actually live up to my expectations? Now let's get to my experience. Onto my experience of using this watch for like 4 to 5 months now. I mean, it's cool to have a smartwatch like this, but let's go down one by one. So we have cool, fitness, and then finally all the apps functionality and all that. We talk about cool. I mean, to be honest, it is actually cool. Cool having a smartwatch, you know, you can change everything. You can look at notification over it, and the good thing about a actual smartwatch, or like Apple Watch or Android-based watch, is that you can actually reply over here. Unlike previous other watch, which is pretty useless, you can actually reply over here. There's actually speaker where you can play music from. You can actually directly play music off this thing. I don't have the LTE version, but I can download some songs over here. There's like storage here, and then I can actually accept call from here. If I have the LTE version, I can even just bring my watch out and then just call from here. So which is actually, it's actually quite a cool thing. So this one, it actually definitely tick the box. So it is actually a cool thing. But when we go on to fitness, I mean, yeah, definitely it is quite helpful. As somebody that I do use fitness. Actually, I haven't been running for quite some time because, you know, I'm a bit busy recently, but previously when I do run, it actually helps a lot. You know, it's a lot more helpful because it tracks multiple things and all that. I actually, the one concern I had from my previous smartwatch is that, I mean, it does track running. Tracking is one thing. So when you get a statistic, you know how you run. But the thing is, you need all these statistics to improve yourself. What if you get all this information but you don't improve on it? I mean, what's the point of tracking then? I mean, you just need the armband with the phone, right? I mean, this just makes it a little bit more convenient, right? Yeah. Initially, I didn't feel it's that worth it, because like knowing all this statistics, knowing my VO2 max, knowing my strides, knowing my speed and all that, but doesn't telling me how to improve on it. It's quite useless, you know. But I mean, this is something that Samsung actually worked quite well. I'll show some screenshot here. So there's actually this kind of small thing which it tracks quite precisely some data, and then it actually tells you how to improve on it, what kind of exercise you need to do to improve running and all that, which is quite cool. So I mean, this kind of tick the box. But if I talk about something else, other fitness feature like blood oxygen tracking, that is kind of helpful, you know, during COVID era, I guess. And then there's sleep tracking, which initially I thought this kind of useful, but after that I find it's actually quite useless, because I don't know. I mean, imagine yourself having a good sleep, waking up to see that your sleep score is only like 50 something. It actually kind of ruins your day. So I think that's not really helpful, and then it doesn't teach you to sleep better and something like that. So I think fitness wise, definitely it's an improvement compared to my previous watch, and especially if you do use fitness feature, it helps. And Samsung Health does try to help you to improve it slightly a bit. So they kind of do use the information that they track now, unlike previously, which is they don't do anything. But other than that, you know, sleep tracking and all this, I think those are more of a gimmick, like more of a feature, more of a show thing instead of a useful thing. So I don't know, fitness is like, if you do use it, if you do actual exercise and all that, it's helpful. But if you try to do other things like, sleep tracking and all this, there's even diet tracking, body composition and all that, those are more like just statistics that they throw at you without telling you more stuff. So I think definitely they've done well on the exercising part, but other fitness tracking, other health tracking, I mean, those are something that I think people wouldn't need to live with. But yes, now on to the third and final thing, which is actually all the app functionality and all this, which is something I kind of buy for, it kind of increases your function and all that, right? It's cool, but actually now that I look at, it's cool that I can literally download apps and everything and run over here. The one thing which is kind of bad on this watch is that there's still no Google Assistant, because I don't know, maybe Google haven't figured out a way to get Samsung to do this. But all the apps that I've downloaded, to be honest, I actually didn't download many. One of the most useful app I've used is Google Pay. Now I don't have to take out my phone to pay stuff. I can literally just pay from my watch. Cool thing. Google Maps. So it's quite cool when you actually put your phone into your pocket. Let's say if you're putting on a navigation where you're trying to walk to somewhere, you put your phone into your pocket. It actually just works. It just goes magically to your watch, which is cool. But for some reason, the GPS doesn't work that well. It doesn't point me in the right compass direction, which is weird. But then, fine. It's a bit useful. That's the second app I use. Third app, Spotify. I can kind of control here, play, pause, but I don't really download songs over here. And then there's actually a camera app, which I can actually remote capture photos from my phone, and then I can view from my watch. That's another thing. But then for some reason, it's not working now, so I have to use another third-party app. Well, that's working, so I consider that a yes. And other than that, it's just actually, there's Shazam. I don't really use that. And then there's Google Fit. I mean, it's slightly better than Samsung Fit, and then it kind of syncs to my phone. But actually, to be honest, that's it. I don't know, man. I mean, there is quite a lot of app selection and all that, but I don't really use. I don't know. I mean, you don't really use that much apps after all, because I guess it's a bit limited. I mean, I do use Strava. Strava is cool. I use Strava to mainly, initially I used that to record, but then after that I still fell back to Samsung Health, because that tracks a lot more function and all that. So I don't know. I mean, it's cool that there is a lot more option, but I guess the ecosystem is still quite limited. And I guess the best part is that you kind of get to reply over here. The audio is, I usually use voice recognition and all that. So those are quite accurate. Other than that, to be honest, it's still more like a cool thing. I would say it's definitely better than the previous sport-based smartwatch that I've used. It's a lot more responsive. Samsung has really done well this. It's really like a smartphone on your wrist, but it's not something you need. I mean, all these functions, it's literally, you can just pull out your phone and then do everything. Like Google Pay, pull out your phone. Google Map, bring your phone, hold your phone, and it's better. It gives you more information. And Google Fit, your phone tracks it by default. I mean, the camera thing, yeah, you can't really remote capture. This helps it, so it's kind of a plus. But then, other than that, it's not like you literally can live without this. It's just like, it helps you a bit. Not like you need it. It just makes your life, maybe even like 0.1% easier. So yeah, so actually that pretty sums up my experience. Now finally, should you get one as a student? First, if you're rich and you have a ton of disposable money that you want to spend on anything, it's worth it, like $299 for a watch. I mean, there's a lot more other expensive watch out there. If you really just want to watch, and then that comes with a bunch of other features, I think it's pretty much worth it. I'm not those kind of people that prefers all those Swiss watch and all that. I am more of a tech guy. That's why I would love to get a smartwatch if I have the money. But if you don't have the money and you are thinking of whether to buy a watch, you can actually get a lot other cheaper options. Only people that I recommend to buy this watch is if you're actually serious in exercising. So it actually gives you accurate spot tracking, and then you don't have to bring a phone around when you're exercising. So that's the only thing that I recommend. And yeah, I mean, that is but it's at this point it's a bit it's a bit hard to judge whether you should get a smartwatch or a sport-based smartwatch, because sometimes those actually track a lot better. But I'll say that at the same price point, I would say that it's more worth it to get a smartwatch, because they gives you more feature, and then the accuracy isn't that far off from similar priced sport-based smartwatch. So I would recommend, if you're actually serious into exercising and you want some tracking, then maybe you can get a smartwatch. Or if you have a ton of money that you want to spend, then yeah, why not? You can get a smartwatch as well. But other than that, yeah, it's not that special. Yeah, like having all these apps on your watch is just a normal thing. It doesn't change your life. So yes, that's it for the video. So I'd love to hear from you. What's your opinion on a smartwatch? Maybe there's other better reasons that why we should actually get a smartwatch. Do list them down in the comment section below so I can read about them. But other than that, if you like this video, do like, share and subscribe. Maybe consider checking out my previous video, which I actually talk about the what I actually eat in a week in a university catered hall in University of Nottingham. Or if you like to check out a podcast, do check out the Thoughts podcast, which is a podcast created by me and my girlfriend Verene, where we discuss about incongruous thoughts in our daily life. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.